What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another review. This time we're taking a look at the Expendables 3. Alright, I'm going to waste no time. I'm going to get right into it. I overall think Expendables 3 is a really good, serviceable action movie. I think it's a worthy addition to the Expendables trilogy and or franchise. I had my issues with this movie, but I overall think that it was very, very solid. So, pros and cons. Pros, the cast in this movie, for the most part, is really, really good. The core group of the Expendables, they all play the roles great as they've always done. However, I do have criticism because I think Terry Crews as the character of Hell Caesar is completely underutilized in this movie. He's in the first 20 minutes of this movie, then the movie teases his death, and he's completely taken out until like the last 2 minutes where we see him alive. I think the character of Hell Caesar deserves much better, especially since the second movie actually gave him much more to do, and he has some good bantering and interactions. In this movie, they pretty much wipe his character. They pretty much almost wipe out his character in the addition for this new character played by Wesley Snipes known as Dr. Death. Now, I enjoyed the character of Dr. Death, and I actually liked how this movie teased a little bit of a friendly rivalry with the Lee Christmas character, since both of these characters are really good at throwing knives. I don't think this movie got enough mileage out of this little friendly rivalry between Christmas and Dr. Death, but what I did get, I was enjoying it. I also did not mind the new generation of Expendables team. So basically, Barney Ross is coming into conflict with Conrad Stonebakes, who was played by Mel Gibson. Ross and Stonebakes pretty much co-founded the Expendables together until Stonebakes betrayed Ross, and since the character of Stonebakes is a much more deadlier force, Ross took it upon himself to kind of like break apart the Expendables, feeling that they're all too old and out of their depth, and there so he recruits a bunch of new Expendables. And I think for the most part, the new additions, they're not too bad. You know, Kellen Lutz, Victor Ortiz, Glenn Powell, and Ronda Rousey. I think they fit their roles well, though I don't think their characters have any like charisma, have any like reach out and grab you charisma like the original guard does. That's just me personally. They played the roles well, though I think Ronda Rousey is very shaky in the acting department. In terms of her action sequences, I think she comes across as a legit badass. When she's acting, she's just not good. Her line reading is completely unnatural and forced. That's really, and to be honest with you, I think Rhonda is kind of like the weakest link of the cast because I don't think she holds her own in the acting department. In the action sequences, she's fine. In the acting, I just didn't care for her at all. Victor Ortiz, Kellen Lutz, and Glenn Powell, like I said, they play the roles fine as the new generation, these high tech experts. They're okay. And I did like how this movie teased a little bit of a rivalry between the new and the old. Though I don't think it got enough mileage out of that, in my opinion. To be honest with you, I would have liked to see a little bit more of that. That would have made for a more interesting movie. Uh, but the addition of Antonio Banderas as the character of Galgo, that is a big plus for me because I like Antonio Banderas, and Banderas just gives Galgo a very just likable just charisma to him. And Banderas has, to me, has always been a very underappreciated and underrated actor because the man's actually really good, and he brings a lot of energy to the character of Galgo. And when he's on screen, a lot of the comedy comes from Galgo, and I think Banderas is hilarious, and he sells the character really, really well. Mel Gibson as the character of Stone as Conrad Stonebakes. I think Mel Gibson comes across as a vicious dick of a character, and I was really liking the character of Conrad Stonebakes on the same level as I like the Jean Claude Van Damme character from Expendables 2. Though I think the Stonebakes character, this movie built him up as like the be all end all, like the end boss. And I really buy the rivalry between him and Barney Ross. I'm actually very interested to see a prequel movie that involves Ross and Stonebanks teaming together for the first time and forming the original Expendables team. I think that could make for a very good prequel movie since I think that Stallone and Gibson did a really good job at selling the rivalry with each other. That was good stuff to me. Um, Jet Li as Yin Yang, he's not really doesn't play much of a role in this movie to be honest with you, though I do like the fact how he pretty much jumped ship to work with Arnold Schwarzenegger's character of Trench. And Schwarzenegger, he's my guy. He's been my hero forever. He's in this movie as well. He has a couple of good moments here and there. That's not too bad. Harrison Ford takes over the role of, pretty much takes over Bruce Willis's role as Mr. Church. Only he plays a guy called Drummer, and I think Harrison Ford is a good addition to the movie. It's Harrison Ford. He comes across as like a more of a curmudgeon as opposed to Bruce Willis's character. But he also has some fun moments when you get to the end as well, when he teams up with Trench and Yin Yang to save Ross and his team. So that was pretty cool too. Kelsey Grammer is in this movie, who plays a recruiter named Bonaparte, and he has a couple of funny scenes here and there. I think he and Stallone have a good on-screen chemistry for like the 15 minutes they share screen time together. I mean, Kelsey Grammer's character is just a recruiter, so he's just in there for like a couple of scenes, and then you don't see him again. I mean, I would have liked to at least seen Bonaparte at the end of the movie where everyone's celebrating the victory. I think that would have been pretty cool, but he doesn't appear, and that's whatever. I think Patrick Hughes, as a director, did a really good job directing this movie. I like the action sequences. I think the production value of this movie looks really, really good. The best thing about the Expendables movies is that they get better after every one. Like the first Expendables movie was well done, but it had flaws. The second Expendables movie was well done and it fixed those flaws. To me, Expendables 3 is like about the same thing as Expendables 2. It looks more refined, it looks more polished, and it looks great. It's a good. The CGI is much better done in this movie. The practical effects all look great, especially when you get to the third act, when they're at Conrad's, when that Stone makes his compound. That's where the mayhem really kicks in, and that's pretty much the second best part of this movie. The first is the opening where the Expendables save, where the Expendables break Dr. Death out of his prison during a train heist, which was a fun scene as well. And another action sequences, and the action sequence where Hell Caesar almost dies. That whole section's also pretty fun as well. And the pepper shootouts throughout this movie are entertaining as well. The character interactions all work for me. I like them a lot. But again, they could have been done with so much more. But yeah. So yeah, those are my overall basic thoughts on the Expendables 3. Like overall, I enjoyed this movie. I like it. It does have issues with it, but I think the pros outweigh the cons, and what I did get, I did enjoy and I did like it. So I'm going to give Expendables 3 an 8 out of 10. I'm not going to say I like it better than the first movie. I'm going to say I like it almost on the same level as the first movie, though the second movie does tower overall, because that second movie is just so damn good and it's so much fun. And I think Expendables 3 is a good movie that had a lot of potential to it, but I don't think it scratched the surface as to what it could have really brought to the table. So yeah, those are my thoughts on Expendables 3. Let me know yours in the comment sections down below. Like this video and subscribe, and I'll check you back next time for more.